Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion HIP settlement fund. Call now for free information.
855-586-1560. 855-586-1560. 855-586-1560. That's 855-586-1560.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 28security.com. That's the number 28security.com. 28security.com. Go to 28security.com.
Are you worried about losing your home to foreclosure? If you've been threatened with foreclosure or received legal papers from your bank, you have approximately 30 days to respond. If you do not respond, you could lose your home. You have rights. Act now to protect your rights. You can stay in your home. Many times you can even modify your loan. The bottom line is you can get past this, but you must act right now. If you've been served by your bank and you're worried about losing your home to foreclosure, now is the time to fight back and save your home. Time is limited, so call the professionals at National Foreclosure Defense right now.
800-932-4102. 800-932-4102. 800-932-4102. 800-932-4102. That number again is 800-932-4102.
Everyone, you're listening to Blunt Talk Radio on the TSRN. I'm Sideshow, along with my co-host Stitch. We're here in the studio today. This is our second full-length episode. We're really excited. First of all, I'd like to start off by thanking everybody out there listening to the show, everybody that has supported, everybody that has hashtag Team Sideshow on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat. The success of this has been overwhelming as far as getting people involved, and I think that's really what the main mission point of this story is the reason why we have this show. It's really to start getting people to stand up for themselves, people to voice their opinion, and specifically on topics like this. Of course, I'm an advocate for the legalization of medical as well as recreational marijuana. Also, I feel that the state of Florida puts far too many people in jail. Puts people through all kinds of hell and pretty much, ruins their life because they decide to smoke a couple of joints, whether it be for medical purposes, whether it be because they just like to unwind and relax by smoking a joint. One of the main things that people do besides marijuana to unwind is alcohol. And, as we know, alcohol carries lots of dangers, whether it be in a really physical dangerous aspect where, you're driving, you get into an accident, you kill yourself, you kill someone else, accidents that happen on a daily basis by the fact of being, impaired by alcohol, or even just the fear of having to deal with fines and losing your license because you got pulled over and got a DUI. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm Mr. Polly Perfect and don't like to go out and have a couple drinks from time to time, or I'm not even going to act like I don't get drunk from time to time. But I think the fact is there's other ways to go out and enjoy yourself. And, Stitch, I know back in the day you used to be a drinker and you're not a drinker anymore. What's your take on this subject as far as alcohol, relates to, cannabis?
Well, there's a big reason I don't drink anymore, and that's because of just what you said. It is too dangerous, both physically, health-wise, and what it causes in your life. It'll tear apart your family, it'll make you lose your job, crash your car, go to prison, all kinds of terrible things that can happen to you because of alcoholism. But even if you just go back to the main science of alcohol, just the way alcohol is made is bad for you.
Now, Stitch here is a plethora of information. So one thing about him is he's going to be able to tell you every single fact. This guy is crazy, and that's why I love him. That's why Stitch is on our show, because he is the factual guy. So I'm really intrigued, and I don't think everybody out there in internet radio land actually know really how this is made. Alcohol is made, and I didn't know until he really told me. So Stitch, enlighten us.
Well, through my years of drunk driving arrests and getting sent to these alcohol classes, I found out that the way alcohol is made basically is you feed yeast, either corn or hops, or depending on what alcohol you're trying to make, you feed the yeast shits, and yeast shit is alcohol. So when the alcohol reaches 80% yeast shit, the yeast dies, and that's as potent as you can get without distilling your alcohol. So anything over that, you've heard of distilled alcohol, and the great 120 proof, vodkas and rums, that in order to acquire that level of alcohol, you have to boil out the excess water to make it a more pure form of yeast shit.
Yeast shit. That's a new word. So basically,
yeast shit.
So I've watched people be hashtagging that. Cannabis over alcohol. Hashtag yeast shit. So what you're basically saying is you're saying that the yeast shits out its yeast shit, and then you refeed the shit to the yeast, in which it shits out again if it's distilled again, which again it's fed, and so on and so on. So this is basically like the human centipede of the alcohol industry.
Right. Well, actually, the distilling process just boils away everything but the yeast shit, which makes it more pure. But yes, as far as the fermenting, that's where you're feeding the yeast.
People don't think about this when they're actually out there drinking alcohol because, hey, it gets them their buzz. It gets them their fix for the evening. But basically, that's how it's done. And thinking about that's a little bit scary. Now, is that going to stop me from going out and have a cold beer while I'm watching the game? Absolutely not. Is that going to stop me from going out and having a delicious cocktail with a buddy from time to time? Absolutely not. But since I've found so many benefits in marijuana use, I don't need to go out and drink to excess. I don't need to, go out and drink every time when I go out to the bar. I mean, granted, you almost have to have something, but here's the deal. I have a lot of friends, and they either work in the bar industry or they hang out in the bar, and I want to hang out with them, but I don't always want to go out there and get, annihilated every time. So, what do? I mean, you kind of want to get yourself in the mood and get yourself in that partying mood. Well, you find yourself a sativa, a nice uplifting strain, and you go out there and you hang with your friends. And yeah, if you want to have a cocktail or two, you can. But, I mean, I think I mean, I know this isn't going to be popular for the bars when this happens because they're not going to be happy because they're not selling their alcohol. But, if you legalize...
Well, that's who's lobbying against the medical marijuana industry to begin with.
Oh, the
alcohol and tobacco.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course they are because they know, they're going to be losing out on a shit ton of money that way.
Absolutely. Why would we waste our money buying yeast shit? And let's take that science just one step further. Now, the way that this yeast shit gets you high is when you ingest enough to shut down your liver, it goes to your brain and starts shutting down brain cells, and that's the buzz. So now if you really look at it, you're ingesting yeast shit, you're killing your liver, and you're temporarily disabling brain cells.
So basically, that's what happens when your brain decides to go to sleep, but your body wants to stay up and keep partying.
Exactly.
Wow. That's some education that everybody should know. And the big thing that I am into right now, and I came up with this slogan last week, and I was so happy about it. I mean, I'm kind of gloating. I'm kind of giving myself a little pat on the back. But educate, legislate, medicate. The problem with people is they aren't educated enough on these subjects. A lot of the lawmakers, a lot of the people that are against medical marijuana, they don't educate themselves enough. They only, go back. I mean, half these people probably only seen that Reefer Madness video you've seen back in the 1970s. You know what I mean? That's been around since the beginning of time. And they don't educate themselves, and that's the problem. With a lot of people, they just go off of what they hear, but you don't ever hear anyone say anything about drinking. These people that are against medical marijuana are the same people going out and having a
oh, absolutely. They're discussing this over a cocktail.
It's almost like an oxymoron, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Like I said, I enjoy drinking just like the next person, but I think we'd have such a peaceful environment. Let's go to some statistics, okay? The World Health Organization estimates that up to 4% of all deaths worldwide are alcohol-related. Now 4% doesn't sound like much, but when you go worldwide, that accounts for 2.5 million deaths. Now, here's where it gets really interesting and actually kind of sad at the same time. Over 300,000 deaths are between the ages of 15 and 29.
Oh my!
You know what I mean? So these are kids. That are over drinking and and dying. And I'm not going to say that 15 to 18 or 15 to 21 should be partaken necessarily in the medical marijuana pool unless it's something heavily prescribed by a doctor. Now maybe not smoking it, maybe in the form of an edible or a wax or something like that. But I'm saying let's just even talk about the people between 21 and 29. I mean that's your life. You're still in the best times of your years. You know what I mean? You're establishing yourself. So, I mean, I think what people really need to do is educate themselves more on the subject, and, maybe we wouldn't have these problems with alcohol.
Definitely, education is key.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back more. We're going to talk more about alcohol addiction. We're going to be talking about more how, cannabis is a better solution than alcohol. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of other things. So, hey, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We are Blunt Talk Radio, and we are on the TSRN. We'll be back at you.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion HIP settlement fund. Call now for free information.
855-586-1560. 855-586-1560. 855-586-1560. That's 855-586-1560.
If you are successful at what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a business owner, or you have a great career, you understand the concept of protecting yourself. Well, are you protecting yourself, your family, and your assets with quality term life insurance? Consider these possible rates. A man age 45, non-tobacco user could obtain $1 million of coverage for as little as $75 a month. And this rate is fixed for the next 10 years. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. A man age 50, non-tobacco user may be able to obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $115 a month. And this rate is fixed for the next 20 years. We have great rates for smokers, too. Call the Term Lifeline now. 800-430-1481, 800-430-1481. That's 800-430-1481.
Attention small business owners. Growing your business can be tough. Just when you thought you were making money, you found out that you owe the government money. And now that you owe the IRS their cut of your business profits, you may be broke. And if you don't take things seriously, you could go to jail or have your business shut down. But you do have an option. If the IRS is threatening you for unpaid taxes, call the Tax Resources Network. Their tax professionals and ex-IRS agents have over 23 years of experience dealing with the IRS, saving business owners and the self-employed millions in tax dollars. Let us negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. We may be able to reduce your tax debt for a lot less than you owe, help with the IRS audit, and even criminal investigations. If your business owes the IRS $15,000 or more and the IRS is threatening you, don't wait and let your business get shut down or worse. Call for a free consultation. Call 800-917-1799. 800-917-1799. That's 800-917-1799. Again, 800-917-1799.
The United States Zoological Association and Team USZA Animal Miracle Network supports the owners of all species of pets. Our mission is to educate and help people of the world become better caretakers of the animals you have chosen to be a part of your family. Through the Miracle Network, we strive to grant last wishes for the terminally ill to meet an animal of their choice. It's through education we can save our wildlife and make a better place for them to live amongst us. Join the USZA today at usza.us and become part of a world loving animals.
Good evening, gentle listeners. You're listening to Blunt Talk Radio on the TSRN. I'm Sideshow with my co-host Stitch. Tonight what we're talking about how cannabis could be used as a solution, not necessarily in place of alcohol, but something that can be used instead of alcohol all the time. I mean, like I said, I said this at the first half of the show. I'm an Irish boy, so, I like to go out and tie one on every once in a while, too. But it doesn't mean I have to drink to excess every time that I go out. And marijuana can be a solution to this. I know we're going off a little subject because we were originally talking about medicinal, and this is kind of going more into the recreational aspect. But one thing about me, and I think you share the same opinion in this, Stitch, is I'm a realist. And, I think that certain things you just got to call a spade, and if it's going to help, regardless of what it's for, I'm all for it.
Well, if you want to talk recreationally, it's still safer. Bottom line is you don't go to the bar and get in a fight because you smoke pot. Drunks get in fights. Drunks get in accidents. Drunks cause problems in society. But just going out and smoking a joint, I've never seen anybody have a fit because they just got done smoking pot.
I've gone over these scenarios in my head so many times about, and this is just not, I'm not just talking from what I've seen, because I'm a DJ. I've worked in the bar industry and the hospitality industry for a long time, but I'm talking about my personal experience. Because, in the past, when I wanted to put them away, I could put some drinks away, but I didn't always remember what was going on. I smoke. I may not know what's going on at the time when a conversation, I might get a little lost in a conversation, but I'm coherent enough to know that, hey, I shouldn't be doing this. This is dangerous. This is not, something. Like, for instance, you're talking about violence. And violence is one of the main things that people suffer from alcoholism, getting wrapped up into. The average peaceful person or the turn the other cheek person might turn to violence because they've drank too much whiskey or tequila. And if you notice, certain alcohol triggers certain people. Some people can drink vodka all night long. I know me, I could drink vodka all night long and be fine. But then you get whiskey mixed in there. You get like brown tequilas. Mainly brown liquors for me were really something that was kind of like a trigger for violent behavior. Now, I'm not a violent person by any means, but I've gotten in many fights when I could have turned the other cheek on alcohol. When I smoke, I really don't. Even if I see someone like that I don't like and I want to punch them in the face so bad, or I'm just kind of like, the hell with it, man. I'm not even trying to deal with this shit tonight. You know what I mean?
Right.
Another example, I have never, ever woke up next to someone I didn't want to when I was smoking. Never done it.
Exactly. That's where I was going to go. Now, I was never much of a drunk fighter. I'm not an angry drunk, but a stupid drunk, oh, yeah. I've never gone out and gotten high and come home the next day and didn't know who drove home. But I've had a lot of blackouts from drinking. There were times that I had no idea how I got home, and how many people did I put in danger that night?
Right. I'll tell you. I'll tell you that similar stories have happened to me. If you let me, I'll tell you a really funny story here right now. And it's funny now, but had I gotten in trouble at the time, it probably wouldn't be nearly as funny. So bear with me. This is a great story. I was dating this one girl, and she was a stripper. This was years ago. And we went out to some regular bar to see some, rock band, local gothic rock band play. And, we're just tipping them down. You know what I mean? Boom, 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 boom. I don't remember leaving the place and going to the strip club that she had worked at, I had worked at the time too. And I mean, when I got there, I remember being there, but I don't remember.
It's your best bud sideshow.
Host of Blunt Talk Radio. I'm on autopilot at this point. Okay, so there's a dangerous situation number one that could have came out of this. Okay, I get to the bar and this buddy of mine, he lines up a whole bar full of Washington apples. This guy was, he had his own business. He's making big money and whatnot. So it wasn't no big thing to him. Now, if you don't know what a Washington apple is, it's made with Crown Royal, which is an insanely strong kind of alcohol to drink.
A lot of yeast shit.
A lot of yeast shit. For those of you who missed the beginning, you guys really got to go back and rewind it or go back and listen to this whole episode because the whole yeast shit bit is great. And I believe people are already hashtagging yeast shit. So thank you for taking attention away from Team Sideshow. No. But in all seriousness, we go to this bar and we're at the strip club and this guy lines these Washington apples all the way down the bar. And we're just, between the three of us, me, her, and him, we're just throwing it back. Well, a buddy of mine had come into the bar and he said, "Hey, Sideshow, bro, you're drunk, man. You really should let me drive you and your girl home." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine. Okay, there's another. That false sense of I'm fine that happens every time you drink. No one can tell you nothing. You're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. You go out and conquer the world. You could drive just fine. You could walk just fine. You're handling the situation just fine." That's another problem. So there's your second mistake right there. Then he says, "Well, if you're not going to let me drive you, can I at least follow you home?" Now, that's a good friend in good faith, trying to do his best to get me home. We get in the car. We start driving down the street. I'm all over the frickin' road, right? Not really super bad, but enough to be noticeable. And he's following behind me. At this point, I forget he's following me. And the girl I was with is like, "Hey, I think we're being followed." So what do? I'm going to lose him. So here I am turning, down streets, left, right, taking hard rights. He's following me all around this neighborhood. We get all the way back to my house. I walk straight in the house, pass out. She comes in, and my roommate's there, and my buddy comes pulling up, like, what the hell? And my roommate comes out with a baseball bat because my girl at the time told him this guy's been following us. So he chased him off my property for him trying to make sure that I was home safe, got behind me to make sure that, no cop pulled in behind me and to make sure that I didn't get a DUI on the way home. And here's me, sending one of my goons outside to kick him off my property. So, I mean, it's a funny story, but, think of all the bad things that could have went wrong in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it's basic insanity,
I'm weaving down streets, I'm not paying attention to who's walking down the street or who's pulling around. I'm just trying to get away from this guy. You know what I mean? It's a funny story, like I said, but if something bad would have happened, it wouldn't have been so funny. So that's a big problem. Your brain shuts down. You don't know what you're doing. Going back to the statistics, we were talking about how 4% of all deaths worldwide are alcohol related, which accounts for 2.5 million deaths. The different diseases that you can get from alcohol, cirrhosis, poisonings, cancer, heart disease, it is actually reportedly the world's third largest risk factor for disease burden. So, it's also associated with a number of social and developmental issues such as neglect and abuse. You always see every day, man gets drunk and beats his wife. You know what I mean? You never see man get stoned and beats his wife. Maybe man gets stoned and forgets to beat his wife, or man gets stoned and before he beats his wife, he goes to the fridge, polishes off a whole box of Ho-Hos, and passes out on the couch watching, the Newlywed Game. But
man gets stoned and orders pizza. That's it.
Yeah, and that happens every day. And I know it's funny, and a lot of people say that, and it's just the stupid stoner thing to say, but it's actually a fact. I see every day people that have bad addiction to alcohol. Where, they have to start their day with a drink. They have to get up in the morning and have a cocktail just to survive. And, that's a very sad thing, that you get that addicted to it. And we talked in our last episode about how, physically addicting prescription medication can be, where you're sick without it, or you feel even worse than you did to begin with if you don't take it on schedule or don't take it on a regular basis. And the same things are happening with alcohol.
Oh, absolutely, and even worse. People that are addicted to alcohol would go so far as to drink aftershave or anything they can find in the cupboard that has alcohol in it. It doesn't matter. They have to have that.
Ooh, that's a terrible aftershave?
Aftershave. I've seen it.
Really?
Yes. Menon aftershave used to be very popular with alcoholics. They call it the green lizard.
Wow, that's absolutely insane. Aftershave. Ladies and gentlemen, please, even you alcoholics out there listening to the show, please do not drink aftershave, because that's just going to...
It won't make your breath smell better.
No, it won't. Keep the hair off your tongue, though, right? Yeah, let's go into an alternative now. Now we were talking about the harms of alcohol. Let's talk to the alternative of cannabis. Me personally, as a person that's DJ'd and hung out in many bars, I have a great amount of bar friends. And I have people that work at bars. And I'm going to give you another example of something kind of funny that happened to me the other night. I was going to go out and drink. And a buddy of mine had gotten me one of those gummy bears. You know what those things are?
Yeah.
They're the medical gummy bears. And they're pretty nice size. Well, little did I know, you don't need to eat the whole gummy bear. So I had done that. I had gone to the bar. I had ordered 2 drinks. By the time I finished my 2 drinks, that gummy bear kicked in. Now, if you... it was kind of funny because I couldn't understand, necessarily what people were talking about for too long. Like, if they didn't get to the point within 45 seconds, I was totally out of it. But the good news is I was still coherent.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because I was like a little duh, I was coherent. But that's also another important thing to note. When we're talking about using medical marijuana, we're going to use medical marijuana to the right dosage. There's always a right dosage. There's always a responsible and an irresponsible way to use it. But I didn't want to drink. I cashed out my tab 2 hours before bar closed, and I stayed there and had a great time with everybody. So, granted, you don't want to eat the whole damn gummy bear, but, medical marijuana or, maybe you, medical marijuana or edibles actually can be a great alternative to be able to go out, hang out with your friends, have 1 or 2 drinks, and drive home safe.
I think that's one of the best things about the new science that's coming in is the fact that you do have the ability to regulate your dosage.
No, that's definitely a great thing. And you know what? We're going to get more about that on our next show. We're unfortunately out of time right here on Blunt Talk Radio. But once again, I'd like to thank all the listeners for logging in and liking us on Facebook, as well as everybody that's hashtagging Team Sideshow on your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or Snapchat. We also like to thank everybody that is hashtagging Yeeshit now out there. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Stitch, for coming up with that incredible word. Well, we're going to get more into this on later episodes. We got a lot more to talk about. We got a lot of things coming up for you in store for all our listeners. So thank you once again for listening. I'm Sideshow. That's Stitch. This is Blunt Talk Radio on the TSRN. See you later, guys.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 877-229-7271. Again, 877-229-7271. That's 877-229-7271. 877-229-7271.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion HIP settlement fund. Call now for free information.
855-586-1560. 855-586-1560. 855-586-1560. That's 855-586-1560.
Let me ask you a question. Are you getting enough? I bet you'd love more, right? Well, AdamandEve.com wants to give you more with 10 free gifts. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, a specially selected toy for him. And third, a little something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus, you'll get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. And number 10, free shipping on your entire order. So what do you have to do to get your 10 free gifts? It's not hard. Just go to AdamandEve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy, sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Just enter offer code GIFT13 at checkout, and you'll get all 10 free gifts. Go check out AdamandEve.com today. Select one item and get 10 free gifts, including free shipping, when you enter offer code GIFT13. That's GIFT13 at AdamandEve.com.